Hi, welcome. My name is Faern, and what you found here is my weekly energy update. And I have to tell you, this one's going to be a little bit different. So here's the deal. We have been in an extremely amplified situation, which on one hand feels really good for a lot of people, and on another hand is extremely agitating for a whole other group of people. And because of that and the big shift that we're in right now, I myself have taken a step back to reassess how I see our phases. So, as you know, if you've been around for a little bit, I have been giving an energy sensitive perspective to the general phase or the collective movement and how to work with that energy. And I add in some bits and pieces from the ascension path. But now that we have made such a big jump, it is starting to come out a little bit differently. And I'm going to just let that happen out loud. There's no way for me to really coach myself into a specific direction. Don't worry about those details. I'm just letting you know for some of the people that have been around for a while. So thank you for being here. And so let's get into it. It is November, just kidding, December 6th. So that's the other thing. Time is very different for me right now, as it is for a lot of people. And my assessment of time, as far as time of day, is kind of going away. And my acute interaction with timing is becoming much more prominent, especially with all these timeline jumps. And I don't really want to get into timeline jumping or shifting or however you want to talk about that. But because we have just had such a big shift, I struggle a little bit more with basic time. Okay. Tomorrow is going to be that transition day for a lot of people. That would be the regular phase that we're in. But because we have been in such a amplified area for so long and it's just increasing, I feel as though what the transition is going to be much more sharp this time around. And sharp, not in a bad way, but it might make you feel like you have to turn on a dime. And so there's some science behind this. And you know, if you've been around a while, I don't like to get into the science stuff because I feel like there's so many other people that are much more versed in the area. Okay. That being said, there are supposed to be some pretty major solar blasts and have been happening. These have been happening already. But there's one that's been sort of targeted around the today, tomorrow, and the next day, which, judging by the last few things that have happened, sciencey, that have affected my body and the people around me, I feel as though those dates are going to be, whenever that does happen, let's say that, that's going to be a moment to watch for. And not to watch out for, but you might feel a very big shift. And if you're highly sensitive and you have the space and the timing to do it, you will benefit from paying attention to every little shift that you feel in your body and in your system. This might cause a little bit of a purge. I feel as though people that are not paying attention to any of this are going to do the purge. And so this is also part of how confusing it is to have the Great Awakening happening, ascension, whatever you want to call it, and so many people not paying attention to it, even though it's happening no matter what. So that's a big thing to understand. A lot of people think that there's going to be such a big separation that people are just going to disappear or something. No, everyone on the planet right now is a part of this. They don't have to pay attention to it. But if you do choose to pay attention to it, you can navigate your situation with a lot of care, not necessarily ease, but you can ease your understanding of what's going on, and it won't be as agitating for you to go through the alchemical process that happens every single time you work with your emotional body. Also, I'm not looking at Schumann resonance so much anymore. I feel I have a very good sense of how that affects the greater level of energy if hitting the collective. But I am looking at the sun a little bit more, which is something that I've been, again, looking at for a while, but I didn't necessarily have any of the vocabulary to share with you about. And I don't think I do now either. But the coronal ejections that are happening do cause the resonance to shift, which is what shifts in your body, which is what a lot of people feel and don't realize. Okay. I am going to pick up my book and read you some dates from for what's coming, okay? And I'll give you a little bit of information from that. And the reason I'm saying it like that is because I am not retaining a lot of this information. I'm just passing the information off to you because it's not something I really need. This is something that's more for me to assist and usher people. Okay. So Sandra Walter is calling what's coming up, or what we've began already, the revelation wave. And she did a whole ebook that I'm going to check out. And if you want to, you have to be on her email list, and it's free. And last year's was fantastic. So I'm looking forward to checking that one out. So here, let me just read you what I wrote. This is going to be a little bit easier. Sandra is calling it the revelation wave, and I feel that a lot. We're there now for some of us. And for another group, it is a little bit triggering. For us, it's a tingling kind of awesome feeling. Awesome, that kind of awesome. Okay. For the other group, it's a little bit mixed, but this is where it's time to make a choice. The longer you take to work against your inner spirit to make the choice to flip, so the longer you're working against, because it's scary, I totally understand, the harder and harder it's going to be to assess the waves that you're living in. So if you are one of the people that's getting this really mixed feeling, you are being asked to choose to pay attention to something. Which one? I don't know. I'm not in your body. You're the one that knows. Okay. So December 12th through January 20th is what Sandra is calling the Revelation Wave Gateway. Now, I look at the time, the weeks, in a much shorter, smaller bits. This is because my experience is younger than someone like Sandra. So I will still come in and talk before January 20th and see what else is going on. I can't speak past the next couple weeks. I'm including this information in case you want to kind of check out what she's got going on. Okay. December 12th to 14th. Global Grid Gateway. Now, this is something that I brought up before. What you want to do at this time frame, the 12th, which is very soon, to the 14th, is to pay as much attention to, first of all, if you're one of those mixed feeling people, pay attention to the one that's pointing towards inner spirit, okay? But for everybody else, during that 12th to 14th gateway period, it is extremely important that you focus on what you are doing and what you are offering. Maybe not offer. I'm thinking about that for myself. I'm still offering. But if it's new for you, I recommend using that time as a break period. It is aligning with some other pretty major astronomical alignments. Again, I'm not an astrologer, I'm not an astronomer. These are things that you can look up online. Okay. The 21st is that date that everybody's been talking about. I feel that if you're paying attention to me and I have helped you by giving these readings, that you want to pay more attention to before the 21st. The 21st for many people is going to be a big third eye opening thing. And for a lot of people, that's going to be annoying and it's going to be agitating. Maybe not for you. Again, if you're in this group, might not be for you, but you still are going to be living and breathing and interacting with people that are having a problem around that. So just know it's not you, although you might get the brunt of it being as sensitive as you are. It's possible. Okay. So on Monday, December 14th, there's a solar eclipse, and the peak is 8:13 a.m. The Pacific time zone. That again is going to be a time frame that's going to leave you with space to make a positive choice. Okay. Remember a couple of things. If something feels very intense, and that is an amplification that goes along with what we're working with here. When something is extremely intense, this is leaving your body, leaving your system. It's always been an amplification before release. However, right now, all of humanity is going through it at the same time, which is causing a little bit more of an uproar because there's more interaction with people around it. Just remember, none of them are in your body. So if you can create some boundaries and space around that, I highly recommend it. If you can just not go online for those days, if you're really sensitive to that, probably not a bad idea. The water thing, extremely important, especially if those solar blasts start coming in really close to each other. You're going to need to drink a lot more water, as we've been saying for months now. Okay. All right. There's one more date sequence that she put in her email, and I'm going to let you know what it is now. December 29th through January 20th. She says this is the revelation wave amplification. So if you understand where we are now, and it's already in amplification, and someone as versed as her says it's going to amplify again, if you're highly sensitive, you need to pay attention to that. This can all be a wonderful, awesome, tingling party sensation, or it can be very dark and brooding. This is the choice that you are going to be presented with, and it is going to be a hard one to make for some reason, especially since the amplification is going to be extended for so much time. Okay. That was a lot to get out. I know, I read notes and all that stuff. It's been affecting me a lot, but something that I realized recently in coaching somebody through a mystical reading is that I have a very deep sense that this awakening that we're going through, I am really meant to witness. It's very important that I witness other people go through this process at this time. That's why I've been doing these readings for all of this time, these reports. I didn't realize that. This is new for me. This is a new kind of download thing. That is the kind of bit of information that I received that really showed me how much I have to shift in a natural way with these phases that I give you, is because this amplification is going to shift all of humanity. And then there's other things going on, politics, holidays, all of that stuff. People not getting their holidays, that's going to upset them really bad. This is going to align with the other amplification. The one that's going to be extremely agitating for the general population is going to align with them not getting their holiday. Just keep that in mind when it starts to get a little bit too much, because you have the power to look at that in a different way. They don't. You can't change other people to come into your awakening period. What you get to do is be an awakened person and respect that they're having their issue. That's it. You don't have to interact with them. You also don't have to ignore them unless there is a serious, like danger. Yeah? We want to be safe. Okay. Thank you for being here. I'm going to be using this YouTube channel a little bit more going forward. I'm doing a whole new series, and I'm not ready to tell you about that yet, but if you could let me know something that you think is very unique, but is also pretty basic, like normal life stuff. Maybe you have a cool approach. Maybe you have a life hack. Maybe let's just leave it at that. Something you think is really cool and mystical, a life hack, or just something that is so basic, it's super cool. Just leave it at that. Thanks for being here. Have a wonderful week. Bye.